Kryptonite is not from Krypton. Kryptonite in its best known form is a green, crystalline material that emits a unique radiation. The radiation from kryptonite has positive and negative effects. The most well-known effect of kryptonite is that it weakens Kryptonians, therefore the assumption is that it originates from Superman's homeworld of Krypton.
My contact at Lex Labs thinks it isn't even from this solar system.
Oh, that certainly would be in keeping with my theory. The fact that your body chemistry absorbs the radiation so readily leads me to believe you share with it a point of origin.
You mean it came from Krypton?
More than likely it is Krypton, or rather a small piece of it. Kryptonite, if you will. The green radiation could have been created by the energy released in the cataclysmic explosion which destroyed your planet.
Due to the fact that Earth's Kryptonian, Superman, is severely affected by kryptonite exposure, the assumption that it must come from his home planet is undoubtedly accepted. With Superman's physiology of being extra prone to metabolizing radiation, it does not necessarily mean kryptonite is from Krypton. Back on Superman's home planet of Krypton, the people there had a power level similar to humans on Earth because they lived near a red dwarf star, which radiates less energy than other stars. When Superman and other Kryptonians come to Earth, they are stronger because they are able to metabolize more of the energy generated from the yellow dwarf star near Earth called the Sun. If Superman were to go to a galaxy with a blue or white star that generates even more nuclear fusion, he would be even stronger due to the increased radiation. Superman's adverse reaction to kryptonite is not because it comes from his home planet but is due to his body's ability to metabolize radiation. The radiation from stars is beneficial while the material radiating from green kryptonite is poisonous.
My tests indicate you have a rare form of blood poisoning.
Impossible. Remember that chunk of kryptonite you carried around for years? What about it? Kryptonite only affects you.
Actually, we're finding that it can affect humans too, but only if they're exposed over a long period.
Some kryptonite may be from Krypton, but what if this substance was found on, or in the heart of any planet, maybe even the Earth? The substance known as kryptonite may be the catalyst linked to many of the superpowers obtained by individuals in the DC universe.
What can be in that tomb that's more valuable than the love of your daughter? Power, detective.
The power once held by almighty Thoth Capera, queen of 2 continents. Thoth Capera was not simply a woman, detective, nor merely a ruler. Through her flowed the power of the gods. With no more than a gesture, she controlled the force of life and death, and with it she kept a nation under her thumb for 1,000 years. I know there is a power there to be tapped. My 600 years of life are proof of that power.
Ra's al Ghul has lived for centuries, sustained by the powers of the Lazarus Pit. The Lazarus Pits are naturally occurring mystical pools that emanate from deep within the earth and are made up of an unknown green liquid. The substance chemicals can restore youth, heal wounds, and rejuvenate the sick and the dying, but they will kill a healthy being. When used to heal or to bring someone back to life, that person is rendered temporarily insane. These are some of the known effects of the Lazarus Pit which share similarities to those exposed to kryptonite. The positive effects of the pits are due to having only a short exposure to the substance, otherwise it is deadly, similar to what happened to Lex Luthor. Although Lex did not ingest kryptonite as one would do in the pits, he did keep it close to him, causing life-threatening cancer as the radiation was poisoning him to death, and may be why he became more and more diabolical. One of his malevolent schemes was to clone Superman from the blood spilled while suffering from the radiation toxicity of kryptonite. The clone, known as Bizarro, was identical to Superman and then developed cellular failure, probably due to the radiation toxicity, resulting in pale white skin and diminished mental capacities. Bizarro's predisposition to green kryptonite exposure may be why it has no effect on him, as he formed a tolerance. Bizarro's altered mental faculties and physical appearance are similar to those exposed to Lazarus Pits. One character that shares many similarities to Bizarro is Solomon Grundy. Like Bizarro, Grundy's strength is on par with Superman, which is amazing since he was once an ordinary human.
Yes, I see now. your name was Cyrus Gold, an evil man who performed many evil deeds. Until the day you aroused an evil as great as your own. They ended your life, cursed you with a powerful gree-gree, and dumped your remains in a swamp redolent with mystical properties of its own. These magics did not sit well together. And so it was that decades later, the swamp gave birth to a walking dead man, soulless and empty.
The resurrection of the zombie from the mystical swamp imbued him with enhanced powers. These mystical waters have identical effects on Grundy as the users of the Lazarus pits, which probably indicates they share the same active chemicals. The pits will kill the living but will revive the dead after a short submergence in the pool, after which, the user's life will be restored along with increased strength and physical abilities, and a bout of temporary madness. Similar to Thoth Khepera, who was immersed in the Lazarus pits for millennia, Solomon Grundy remained in the swamp for decades. Like Thoth Khepera, Grundy's enhanced abilities are permanent and prolific. The mix of vegetation life and decay of the swamp turned Grundy's body a ghoulish white and saturated his muscles, changing him into a hulking monster. While his physical effects are lasting, so are his mental. Like Bizarro, Grundy has diminished mental capacity with slowed incoherent speech and is solely focused on his pre-death obsession. Gold.
Ooh, Grundy likes gold.
The chemical that comprises the Lazarus pits and kryptonite is a resource with the potential for immense power, which gives no reason for doubt as to why it has been found throughout the DC universe. To distinguish this chemical from the particular substance that it comprises, I will hereby refer to it as Kr2 so as to not confuse it with the real known chemical Krypton known as Kr. As with any other resource, industries would have found and harvested Kr2 as a commodity to make products. One chemical manufacturing facility named Ace Chemicals produced a mysterious chemical, which gave birth to one of the most infamous supervillains, the Joker.
It was a foolproof plan, or was it? The daring break-in. The first confrontation with the Batman. Conflict. Struggle. A vat of chemicals. A life changed forever.
After the Joker fell into a vat of green mysterious acid, his appearance became mutated with pale skin likened to Bizarro, green hair, and lips lit red disfigured in the shape of a permanent smile. Although he now resembled a clown, the no-name henchman turned mastermind self-confessed Joker is deadlier than ever as he is driven mad after his dip in Kr2 acid, similar to the adverse effect of Lazarus Pit. The Joker survived his fall into the vat and has created his own Joker venom from Kr2 to be used as a weapon. One does not have to touch it, a simple whiff of his happy gas will have you literally dying from laughter. The Joker always seems to get the last laugh as he has cheated death numerous times, which is a common benefit of Kr2.
Do you think he's gone for good?
Believe me, Jim, I wish it were true. But deep inside, I doubt it.
Years after the Joker's accident, he exposes a reporter named Jack Ryder to Kr2 as further evidence of its effect on humans. The Joker gasses Ryder with his laughing venom and then pushes him into the same vat of chemicals he was exposed to. The gas and the chemicals transform him into a madman.
Who are you?
They call me Yellow-Skinned Wacky Man! But I prefer the Creeper.
Call Arkham, quick.
Exposed to two forms of Kr2, Ryder is not only empowered but also has had his skin and brain chemistry altered. The Creeper has gained superhuman strength, agility, healing, and stamina, as well as a maniacal laugh, the sign of his induced psychosis similar to the Joker, Bizarro, and Ra's al Ghul. Another chemical manufacturing company named Daggett Industries used Kr2 to produce cosmetics. The company created a product aptly named Renew You, which is considered a facelift in a jar as it rejuvenates and allows the user to rearrange their face. The Wonder product would never hit store shelves due to its harmful side effects. This KR2 product may have benefits yet is highly addictive since they are not permanent, so without a re-up the user develops painful withdrawal headaches causing perpetual cravings. The washed-up actor, Matt Hagen, would serve as a test subject for the product that would restore his good looks as his face was disfigured in a car accident. Hagen's neuropsychological disorder developed from repeatedly rubbing KR2 into his face, making him desperate with a lack of self-control, which led to him putting his life in danger. In an attempt on his life, he was given an overdose of the Renew You. The outcome was that KR2 saturates Hagen's whole body, turning him into a misshapen clay-like form, who no longer needed to physically remold his body but could shape-shift into anything since he could now mentally manipulate all of his cells. One common symptom of KR2 exposure is that it chemically alters the brain, causing mental disorders. Gotham's district attorney, Harvey Dent, long suffered from multiple personality disorder due to childhood trauma. Dent would repress his anger to the point his mind manifested a second personality known as Big Bad Harv as a means of expressing that emotion, while absolving Dent from the guilt of his actions. Dent was able to maintain control until he was put under immense stress, then it was compounded by a threat from a crime boss. Big Bad Harv temporarily became the dominant personality to defend Dent when he was exposed to KR2. Dent was caught in an explosion that disfigured the left side of his body. The side exposed to KR2 has bleached hair, burnt discolored skin, and deformed facial features. The juxtaposition of the two sides in one body augmented his multiple personality disorder as Two-Face was born as a representation of justice. Perfectly balanced, the district attorney Harvey Dent represented the lawful, well-natured side, while Big Bad Harv embodied the wrath of vengeance and criminality. Both good and bad united in one body like two sides of a coin were in perpetual balance, so in order for Two-Face to choose which side would decide what action to take, the only just way to choose was through chance. Two-Face exposure to KR2 provoked the development of obsessive-compulsive disorder as his behavior reflected his unreasonable fears of loss of control through thoughts of not having balance. As a result, everything needed an opposite, and he compulsively relied on the chance of a coin flip to decide what is fair and just.
A good plastic surgeon should be able to repair most of the physical scars.
I'm more worried about the mental scars.
Addiction and dependence are common reactions to KR2. Ingesting KR2 has proven to create monsters.
A chemical plan to create super soldiers out of hardened prisoners. It was abandoned when they got more than they bargained for.
And what was that, sir?
They got Bane.
The highly addictive compound known as Venom uses KR2 to significantly multiply the user's physical strength. This drug killed others who were experimented on and nearly killed Bane, until he was weakened enough for the benefits of KR2 to kick in. As a result, when Venom is properly administered, the serum increases Bane's muscle mass, strength, endurance, and healing. Venom is dangerous because by definition KR2 is a drug, as it is a chemical substance that causes a change in an organism's physiology or psychology when consumed. Venom is harmful when used in excess. An overdose causes the muscle to swell and rupture, and when cut off the drug the benefits reverse, causing withdrawal. When it comes to madness, only a few can match this madman's willingness to cause terror. While the Joker drives his victims mad through convulsive laughter, the Mad Doctor known as the Scarecrow terrorizes his victims with fear. Once the leading university professor of psychology, Jonathan Crane was fired due to his dangerous obsession with inspiring terror in his patients and students. To carry out his antics he graduated from simple pranks in his youth to terrible psychological tactics, and when that was not enough would experiment with drugs. The Scarecrow trained to become a biochemist and toxicologist to further his work, which led to the invention of his fear toxin. This KR2 chemical-based compound is inhaled or injected into the bloodstream, drawing out the victim's darkest fear into a terrifying hallucination, causing death through heart attacks or altering the victim's brain chemistry, leaving them in a permanent psychosis of chronic fear. Prolonged exposure to fear toxin has altered Crane's brain chemistry. The damage rendered him nearly incapable of sensing fear. Except...
What's the matter, Scarecrow? Can't handle your own medicine?
The properties of KR2 alter the body and the mind. Some exploit its properties while others manipulate them, like the Joker and the Scarecrow, and we have seen the wide-ranging effects it has on individuals. No one has explored the use of KR2 more than botanist Dr. Pamela Isley aka Poison Ivy. While the Joker and Scarecrow have explored the chemical properties of KR2 to utilize its psychotropic effects on humans, Ivy's study of plants is more expansive. Ivy's belief in the superiority of flora over fauna is not unfounded. Plants exhibit an exceptional ability to create energy from radiation through photosynthesis, similar to the ascendancy of Superman over Earthlings. This genius scientist has manipulated the DNA of plants to mutate them to the point of having intelligence and showing anthropomorphic characteristics to being uniquely terrifying monsters. With her ability to turn humans into plants and plants into humans, she is already one of the most powerful and dangerous people in the DC universe. Poison Ivy's exposure to KR2-laced herbs has made her immune to toxins and poisons. Prolonged KR2 exposure from the various chemical concoctions she has devised over the years, Ivy has become more powerful as she is truly turning into a force of nature. Ivy has become more plant than human. With KR2 coursing through her veins, her skin changes color over time the more she is exposed, turning a pale white to green. Toxins are secreted from her lips either to kill or command, and most impressively she has a psychic and empathic link to plants, allowing her to control them with her mind.
They can bury me in the ground, as deep as they like. But I'll grow back. We always grow back. Don't we, baby?
My argument is that kryptonite is not unique to planet Krypton. Evidence that the chemical KR2, which makes up kryptonite, is found on Earth can be substantiated by the similar symptoms of those affected by the many varieties of the substance from this planet. I would say depending on the physical state in which it is found determines its name, but the chemical itself remains the same. If it is found in a crystallized form, it is referred to as kryptonite. If it is found naturally occurring from within the planet as a pool of chemicals, it is referred to as a Lazarus pit. If it is pumped into the back of your head as a drug, it is referred to as venom, or whether it is industrially produced, it is the same substances, which is the catalyst for many the superpowered of the DC universe. No matter how their physical attributes develop, KR2 furthers their descent into madness.
Ha ha ha!